Hey guys, and we're back for another slice of the tabletop gaming pie. Yep, coming up you're going to see some of the official Warhammer 40k gaming tiles from Forge World, some Infinity models in their usual glorious Technicolor, and some of the latest news on a gaming related movie. So, all aboard the Beasts of War Express, and let's take a ride through gaming greatness. Laser cut terrain? Well, it's really taken off, with many companies offering superb and affordable deals on extensive amounts of terrain. We first heard about Warmill back in 2011 when their initial Battle Snap terrain model, the Barricade system, blew us away and really opened up the idea that you could make intricate terrain pieces with simple fiberboard. And Warmill's latest release, well, it's a testament to that. The guys have produced this great looking utility pod that, when combined with the set of gantries, makes a really interesting and interactive piece of terrain. Not only that, if you combine the utility pod with the security compound, you can get a really cool sci-fi or near future battlefield right there on your tabletop. Laser cut terrain? Well, it's easy to assemble, light, strong, and most importantly, affordable. So, it gets 2 thumbs up from us. So it seems that Reaper Miniatures may actually be bowing to public pressure, as this set of releases are nearly all painted. Yep, check out some of these cool new sculpts. Reaper really does have something for every genre, and while this set of models may be mostly fantasy, with a little bit of sci-fi thrown in, the Chronoscope range has miniatures drawn from all time periods. Past and future, and the Dark Heaven and Warlord range has a vast array of fantasy models suitable for any fantasy battle or even a role-playing game. So no matter what the miniatures are you're in the market for, you can bet Reaper will probably have something in that vast catalogue that would suit. It's lucky, I suppose, that they have a handy figure finder function on their website. Otherwise, you'd probably just end up lost in their vaults. Do you guys remember the Space Marine movie Ultramarine? Well, did you know that Games Workshop have given an unofficial green light to a new film based on the 40k universe? That's right, Lord Inquisitor is a forthcoming CGI 40k movie made by fans for fans. The initial visuals look very promising, and one of the star authors from Black Library, Aaron Debensky-Bowden, has been recruited to oversee the plot. The guys were keen for people to show their support for the venture, so why not take a look at their website and give them some words of encouragement? Remember, this is a fan-made movie, so we can hope that the certain, well, discrepancies that previous films may have had will be avoided in this endeavour. With lots of images of spaceships and vehicles, we can hope that the Lord Inquisitor, who is mentioned in the title, won't spend the entire film walking everywhere, if you know what I mean. Always the ones to come up with something new and innovative, our buddies over at Battlefoam have released the images of their new Magnarack system. This set of spaced stackable metal shelves fits into the standard Battlefoam bags and can be used to safely transport those of the lovingly painted variety of your miniatures that you really don't want to touch foam. Anyway, it's a great idea for transporting fewer models in a bigger bag, where they could easily slip about and get damaged. But what do you do with all the foam you've just replaced? Well, you get a foam stacker. Yep, the foam stacker is constructed to fit Battlefoam trays so that you can easily stack them up and get access to the whole collection without threat of them toppling and spilling your minis all over that tiled floor. Or does that only just happen to me? Full Borer Miniatures is a new miniatures venture that has produced 2 very cool looking offerings for their initial release. First up is this Gothic sci-fi artillerist. He was created as an addition to the army being put together for the Heroes of Armageddon charity project, a gaming industry collaboration that raises money for the charity Doctors Without Borders. And their second release is a feisty lady named Hannah Valerius. The concept art for this model was produced by Dave Powells, the artist who produces the Free Mars webcomic. And you can read one of Hannah Valerius' short stories on the Free Mars website just to get the feel of the character. So if you're a fan of comic book art or Gothic sci-fi, there's something here for you. And don't forget, If you're interested in getting involved in the Heroes of Armageddon charity drive, then hop on over to their blog and you'll get all the details. We're always interested in the technological advancements and the impact they could have on the tabletop gaming industry. So imagine our excitement when we saw this come in from ePawn. The ePawn system uses a touchscreen and a virtual tabletop to allow you to reproduce electronic boards for board games, or interactive maps, for role-playing, or even skirmish games. While the technology for a fully electronic board for a 6x4 table might be a little ways off, there may come a day when you'll be setting up your gaming table, well, with the flick of a switch. How this technology is going to impact the hobby? Well, we'll have to wait and see. But we're hopeful for the future and can't wait to see how the ePawn system continues to develop. Have you guys checked out the new Pan-Oceania tags from Infinity? Well, a tag is an artificially intelligent walking tank. Yep, just the sort of thing to build your Infinity force around. These things come equipped with some of the most powerful weaponry in the game, and your opponent, well, he needs to be sure to bring some heavy firepower if he ever hopes to take one down. As well as the tags, there's been a whole slew of other releases. Check these out. Infinity has really been gaining ground and is fast becoming one of the most popular games on local tournament circuits, with competitions popping up at gaming clubs all over the world. If you're looking for a game of Infinity, it shouldn't be too hard to find some players near you. And if you're stuck on how to find someone locally, then don't forget there's a community of Infinity players over at Beasts of War who are just waiting to hear from you. Do you fancy playing your next game of 40k in a dungeon? Well, perhaps not quite a dungeon, but the Battle Zone Mortalis set from Forge World certainly takes its inspiration from the 3D dungeon tiles you can create from Hearst Arts molds or a host of other terrain producers. These new resin battle tiles allow you to construct a 3D tabletop that can represent the dismal confines of an Imperial bunker or the derelict corridors of a haunted Space Hulk. Space Hulk, you say? I suppose if you were ever looking for a 3D board to play your favourite 40k board game on, then these tiles could easily be used to make a great looking gaming table. Of course you still need to paint them, but with the plethora of cool weathering products out there, like our favourites at the moment, the Model Mates weathering sprays, you can easily have your resin terrain primed and ready to play probably in under an hour, rather than having to spend days and days working at it. Anyway, you should try them till you see. If you're a fan of the fantasy horror game Carnevale, then you're probably keen to see the next wave of releases of your favourite Venetian-styled skirmish. The guys over at Vespron Games have been busy crafting some nightmarish creations to add another level of dread to your terrifying band of ruffians and rapscallions. This time around we've got some nasty nurses, fearsome fishmen, and even the mighty aberration to contend with. So, if you're looking for something less elegant and more horrific, perhaps this is the release you've been waiting on. We've been told that the next release will be out in a few months, but if you're keen to have your favourite masked hero or gribbly monster make its debut on your tabletop, then remember to post your preference on beastsofwar.com. The guys from Carnevale are frequent visitors and are always on the hunt for some cool feedback. Cannon to the right of them, cannon to the left of them, cannon in front of them. Into the jaws of death rode the 600. Tennyson's poem may encapsulate the futile bravery of the Light Brigade as they charged to their deaths during the Crimean War. However, the sculptors of Warlord Games have recreated the unit of the doomed 17 Lancers for you to use in a game of black powder. The artist has even modelled the Fallen as they bravely face down the guns, so you can include them in your force or perhaps use them to represent damage taken to the unit. But what about that cannon fire? Well, they've thought of that too. Check out the gunfire lights that you can use to represent that ferocious cannon fire. While they may not be the most practical item in terms of playability, they do make a really cool addition to a static force of artillery. And they might just be the thing to get that wargamer who's got everything. If you want more sci-fi models, and we know you do, then you may just be in the market for some of the top-end models available from Kabuki. Kabuki models do some of the best sci-fi knights and sultry ladies in the business. Their latest model, the menacing Dark Knight, not Batman of course, but an armoured knight sporting some serious hedge clippers in his hands. Next up, we have the first in a new range called Standalone. Yep, we call it Sci-Fi Napoleon. Perfect to use as a general in your Imperial Guard army or even Corporation army, the futuristic Napoleon is sure to bring that essential je ne sais quoi to your gaming table. Giants and sea zombies. Now there's an opening line if ever there was one. Warploque Miniatures have been busy creating some cool new models that fall, well, neatly into that category. So if you're a Cutlass player, or perhaps you're looking for some cool models, to up your Cricks or Undead army, then perhaps these might just tweak your interest. Of course, Warploque also produce some other fantasy models, so why not check out their website and see if they have anything that might make a cool addition to one of your games. Next up, we've reached that part of the show where we're going to show you how to play Infinity. So in this short segment, we're going to look at part 2 of how to play.
This video will explain the basis of the common action resolution between miniatures. We're going to recreate a typical situation on the gaming table. We have here Line Kazakh, an Ariadnan base trooper. In a firefight, it is necessary to consider the stats of the troop's profile. BS is its ballistic skill, the value the player has to roll equal to or under when rolling the dice. In this case, it is 11, so all the dice with 11 or less will be successful. ARM is its armor. Anytime a figure receives a hit, it must succeed an ARM roll to avoid suffering a wound. W stands for wound. If the number of wounds a figure has reaches 0, it'll fall unconscious. The Line Kazakh is marked with a hologram to visually mark that it is the active figure, and is acting in its own turn. Let's see now how an enemy reacts. A Hak Islamite Halka trooper whose ballistic skill is 11 as well. This means that for both players the relevant dice rolls will be those that get an 11 or less. The essential difference is that the Line Kazakh will get to fire his weapon's full burst of 3 shots, as he is in his active turn, while the Halka will only shoot once, as that is the maximum allowed when reacting. We roll the dice. The Line Kazakh shoots and gets a 2, a 9 and an 18. The Halka's shot gets a 7. The 18 is higher than the target number of 11, so it misses. The 7 beats the 2 and nullifies it, but at the same time the Kazakh's 9 nullifies the 7. Only one shot from the Kazakh wins the dice roll against the Halka, so it will receive 1 hit. Now it is necessary for the Halka to perform an ARM roll. His ARM value is 1. When we add this to the number we get in a dice roll, the result must be higher than the damage of the weapon, in this case 13. He rolls the die and gets a 5, which doesn't beat the 13, so the Halka suffers 1 wound and falls unconscious.
So there you have it. If you missed the first part of that, remember you can find it over at beastsofwar.com or by clicking into the Infinity Hub over at Beasts of War. Well, there you go. Doesn't 15 minutes fly when you're having fun? We'll be back again in 2 weeks with the next installment of our tabletop shenanigans. But if you haven't yet had your fill, remember you can join us over at the Beasts of War website and through all the usual social networks where we promise to keep you updated with what's cool and what's new on gaming tables all around the world. So until next time, you have been watching On the Table.